Good morning, traders. Paul here with GammaEdge. Today is Thursday, the 1st of December. Let's get started. Read this to the bottom. If you agree, keep going. Overall, our market models have started to transition to the long side. We have a new short-term signal to the upside. The intermediate term is off. It's within the ribbon. You'll see that on the next slide. And then long term, we're still long by a thread, but if we continue the progress that was started yesterday, we will keep advancing the long-term signal. For the total SPX combo complex, we've not had a change. We're still, the upper goalpost is very close at 4,100, and minus GEX is at 3,600. We are seeing, as we noted yesterday, a growth of that line at 3,800. So we want to make sure everyone's aware of that. But 41 and 36 are the two numbers. SPX complex, the PM complex, which is the dailies that trade, are showing a significant move up. And we do think this is bullish. We do like to see that. And we discussed this last night on the open mic with our members, that we like to see both the floor come up as well as the top advance. And we are seeing that. Plus GEX on the PM structure moved from 4,000 to 4,100. And this is a very short-term measurement. And minus GEX fell from 3,850 to 3,835, which is the JPM strike for the end of December. POI moved up from 31 to 34. So this is showing that either the puts were closed at 31, allowing 34 to be expanded or exposed, or that we had puts that were added at 34, allowing it to be the dominant put strike within the shorter-term SPX complex. This trades very quickly. It rotates very quickly, but overall, structurally, we're short-term supportive to the upside with the short-term complex. It's worth noting that 49% of yesterday's SPX PM action was focused solely on the Wednesday 0 DTE. So this is nearly 50% of the volume that transacted yesterday went into Wednesday. Now, it's further analysis has shown that the 1 day, 2 day through Friday also was a beneficiary there. So everything is very, very short term here, and you'll see that in the charts. We are showing call dominance for the deltas across the board, and this is a complete shift of yesterday's starting point. We think this is bullish, of course, but it also shows that now we're stacked to one side of the boat. This is generally where we see profit taking, and the corresponding dealer response to profit taking is downward pressure. So be aware that we are looking at that 40.15, 40.30 as an intraday level, and perhaps even an overnight parking that will move us back to the top of transition, which is coincident across the SPX PM as well as the SPX combo. We're also watching the build out above plus GEX in the combo complex. So we're watching the 4150 and the 4200 and 4250s. But be mindful that that build out is very short dated. So we think this is more of a convexity gamma play than it is more of an upside target. Remember, we have not changed from 4,100 in the overall combo complex, and until this really changes, it's going to be very difficult to move up and hold it. Taking a look at the market model, as I said, we are watching for continued progress to the upside. We're right inside of the ribbon. The ribbon is virtually horizontal, which means there has been no long-term trend. We've been chopping back and forth, as everyone knows. This was a signal that we talked about yesterday within the Discord. We are looking to see a continuation to the upside here, which is the cumulative tick showing net buying. We will note that this is a very steep buying signal. It typically needs to consolidate, so we would be mindful of a temporary pullback and holding above its shortest term moving averages. That could offer, if we are above the ribbon, that could offer an entry point, but it also can offer a failure point and show downside strength. So just be aware of where you are. Look at your TradeStation TOS tools that we have available within the Discord. Something that we've been tracking here, I updated it this morning. We have lost the ratio of the VIX and the VVIX. It is below this trend line, and so we've broken that. We were walking up that from several days here, And you can see now that with the pre-market open, here we are. We think that's significant because we're right at the top of this downtrend line that is connecting the tops of the SPX. So something's got to give. And so we're going to be mindful of maybe a push north and continuation to the south in terms of the VIX relative to the VVIX. Or we're going to watch for a topping formation and a potential move down. So just you may want to track this yourself. Taking a look at the key levels, as I said, 4,100 moved up from 4,000 on the PM side of things. We did see the drop down to the JPM December strike at 38.35. This is not liquid, but we are mindful of that shift. And then this move up from 31 to 3,400 for put open interest, not a gamma or delta construct, but it's important because it does show that net puts have taken the lead at the 3,400 strike from the 3,100 strike. No change over here. Expected move is less than yesterday, so we are expecting lower volatility, and that's commensurate with being now more in a call-dominated environment than a put-dominated environment. The PM settled here. Just taking a look at the different levels that we have here, 4,200, 4,155, 4,100. Very interesting here to pay attention to all of that. 4,150. Look at the JPM strikes that we have up here. This is at the 4,145. You can see that offers a structure, a hiding place per se, and we want to be mindful that those are short calls that are indicated. Historically, I just want to point out to you, it is difficult to remain up in this area without a pullback to the transition area. We watch this continually on a day-over-day basis, and so we are mindful of the potential to come back. And from the short-term SPX PM complex, we're looking at that 40.35, 40.40 level as a potential resting zone somewhere in here. We don't think we're going to get below the 4,000 strike, but want to be mindful of that 39.95 sitting right here. I just want to point out that 100% call delta dominated across the structure, of course, with that illiquid 41.45 that's sitting up here. The 0DTE, complete change from yesterday, all call dominated deltas. You can see that when we see this, though, and it's on a 0DTE, remember, all of this is expiring. So all of these calls are coming off the table. When that happens, that can be a shifting event, and the dealer response could be to put some downside pressure here. So just want to be mindful of that. Again, we are above that same transition area, that 40.40, 40.45 zone. Want to be make sure you're aware of that. And this is a little bit higher, but you can see this double pocket in here also at 39.80, 39.90. We've seen that, and we are mindful of potential even falling to that area. We don't think we're going down there, but just be aware that it does exist. Taking a look at the 1DT, this is remarkable. First of all, a very, very large amount of call-dominated gamma is coming off tomorrow. We don't normally see this on the 1DTE, so people are already positioning for tomorrow's vaporization. The magnitude of tomorrow is already growing, so that in combination of today's FOMO trade will be interesting to see how this grows and where we end up for the end of day positioning for tomorrow. Want to point out that the transition's just slightly lower than it is for the other complexes, so it's right around the starting point is right around that 40.15, 40.20 zone. Would not be surprised if we came down and held into this area overnight. We actually think that would be healthy and helpful for positioning to move higher again. But again, just want to point out the 4,000 strike is sitting there, and then that 39.50 is sitting down there, which we think is important. We don't think we're going down to 39.50, but you see there are a number of areas afforded here as we look to, where could we potentially park for the end of the day. To the upside, look at this 41.50 that is sitting up here, huge. This is the call open interest that is expiring tomorrow. It is dominating. Very close to that is the 4,100. Again, very sizable numbers that are coming off here for tomorrow, or projected to come off for tomorrow. So our crystal ball for tomorrow is saying a significant amount of call delta and gamma is coming off the table. That could bring downside pressure to the table or to the traders. And so just be mindful of that any push upward could see a resulting pullback. Taking a look at the combo, here's that 41.45 again that we've been talking about. We're free sailing all the way up to that. It's actually, it's worthwhile to note that this could be a hiding place. We don't anticipate it, but it is within the expected move. And as of yesterday, most of you are aware that we hit that number to within about $5 or $10. So we're mindful that the FOMO trade could push us up even higher, and if we can get there, it's almost like we have another resting spot right up there at 41.45. Again, we are not expecting to move up there. We don't think this is liquid, but nevertheless, the market is building out and up. Want to draw your eye up here: 42.50, 4,200, 41.50, all growing relative to where we were yesterday. I urge everyone to go back and look at yesterday's presentation, and you'll see that. To the downside, same story, right? We're well above transition. We don't normally stay that far above transition. We've got a large amount of deltas here, call-dominated deltas. We are in the money, obviously, on a lot of this, so we'll want to be mindful of that and what that means and what that brings to the table in context of monetization. Final picture here, it's the same as that I like to end on, but huge growth in the 4100 line. Part of that is that we moved up, of course, but the other part of it is that we were just seeing a huge amount of calls go in. The structure here and the magnitudes of which have really changed based on yesterday. So there's a lot of speculation to the upside here. Everybody wants a Santa rally, of course. You can see that the line that was negative gamma, that's at that 41.45, has shrunk relative to where it was yesterday. Of course, that's because we moved up and because some calls were probably added on top of that, negating those short calls that were there. We closed right here. We're well within this structure now. We don't normally stay there. We tend to pull back to transition. As a pause, I would expect that 41.10 would hold. I don't think we're going to go below 4,000. You can see once we do, we start getting into some slippery territory to the downside, line in the sand to the downside, 39.55, 39.50 area, right in that transition. Don't think we're going there. I think if we do pull back, it's going to be into this area. We could also make a run. Like I said, we could make a run up to this pocket, which would be abnormal. We typically do not, in the SPX, do not push higher than plus GEX without seeing a corresponding change in the dominant gamma. So just be aware of that too. But we're within 20 points of it. It'll be very, very interesting to see how this plays out. So with that, I'll leave you. For those of you who have recently joined, thank you very much. We look forward to providing you the education and the value that you're looking for. Follow us at GammaEdge.us. Click on the pricing tab, fill out the blinks, and come on into the Discord. It's a lot of tools, a lot of great traders, and a lot of commentary going on in the voice channel and the chat channel. So I would urge everyone to do that. Follow us on Twitter, GammaEdges with an S, and then here on YouTube. If you like today's content, give me immediate feedback. Let me know. I know my microphone volume has been low the last couple days, and so let me know if today solved that problem. But also smash that like button. Let me know that I'm on the right track and providing the value that you guys want to see. And then, of course, subscribe, because Taylor and I post videos. We try to do 2 a day and give you kind of a read on what we're seeing and how to apply this thing called Gamma, as well as the other tools, Delta and some TA thrown in there to help you learn and give you an edge to your trading. So with that, make it a great Thursday. Trade safe, manage your risk, and base hits. We'll see you later.